1. Emotional presence was missing, not love. Many people struggle to understand this distinction. Their parents showed up physically. They provided. They stayed. And yet, something essential was absent. Emotional presence is not about being there. It is about noticing, about responding to feelings with curiosity instead of correction, about making emotions feel welcome instead of inconvenient. When emotional presence was missing, you didn't stop needing it. You stopped expecting it. This is where inner child healing begins, not by questioning whether your parents loved you, but by naming what they couldn't offer. Love without attunement still leaves a gap. As a child, you may have learned to keep feelings small, to not need too much, to handle things on your own. As an adult, this can look like independence, but underneath, there is often longing. Inner child healing invites you to acknowledge that longing without judgment, to recognize that emotional absence shapes attachment just as powerfully as harm. Nothing needs to be blamed. Something needs to be named. 2. You learned to self-soothe before you learned to be soothed. When comfort was inconsistent, you adapted. You learned how to calm yourself, how to distract, how to endure. This early self-reliance was intelligent. It helped you survive emotionally. But it also taught your nervous system a quiet rule. I am on my own with my feelings. As an adult, you may struggle to ask for help. You may feel uncomfortable receiving care. You may minimize your needs even when you are exhausted. This is not a personality trait. It is a learned pattern. Inner child healing does not take away your strength. It softens the belief that strength requires isolation. Being able to self-soothe is valuable, but never being soothed leaves a mark. Healing begins when your system learns that comfort can come from connection, not only from control. 3. Your emotions were managed instead of understood. You may have been told to calm down, to be strong, to stop overreacting. These responses were not always cruel. Often, they were all your parents knew. But being managed is not the same as being understood. When emotions are redirected instead of explored, you learn to regulate by suppression rather than awareness. This can make emotions feel confusing later in life. Hard to name, hard to trust. Inner child healing involves learning a new relationship with emotion. One based on curiosity instead of correction. Your feelings do not need to be fixed. They need to be met. This shift alone can transform how safe your inner world feels. 4. You learn to prioritize stability over honesty. In many homes, peace mattered more than truth. Keeping things calm mattered more than expressing what was real. So you learn to read the room, to adjust, to hold things in. This helped maintain stability, but it often came at the cost of emotional authenticity. As an adult, you may struggle to express needs without guilt. You may fear conflict even when honesty is necessary. Inner child healing allows you to separate safety from silence. To learn that expression does not automatically threaten connection. You are allowed to be honest and connected at the same time. 5. You still search externally for what was never mirrored. When emotions were not reflected back to you, you may have grown up unsure of what you were feeling. So as an adult, you might look to others for validation, for reassurance, for clarity. This is not dependency. It is a natural outcome of emotional absence. Inner child healing helps you develop an internal mirror, a way of recognizing and validating your own experience. When you learn to do this, relationships change. You no longer search for yourself in others. You bring yourself with you. This is not about becoming independent in isolation. It is about becoming emotionally grounded. 6. Awareness allows you to give yourself what was missing. There is a moment when understanding turns inward, not toward blame, and not toward fixing the past, but toward care. When you begin to recognize what was missing emotionally, something shifts. You stop asking yourself why you struggle. You start asking what you needed. This is where healing becomes practical, not dramatic, not overwhelming, but steady. You learn to pause when emotions arise instead of dismissing them, to listen without correcting, to offer reassurance without conditions. This is not about becoming your own parent in a rigid way. It is about becoming emotionally available to yourself in the ways that were never modeled. You are allowed to validate your feelings. You are allowed to need comfort. You are allowed to slow down when something inside you asks for care. As this awareness grows, the nervous system begins to relax. Not because everything is resolved, but because something essential is finally being met. Healing here is not about replacing your parents. It is about ending emotional abandonment gently, from the inside. This content is for educational and reflective purposes only. It is based on real-life experiences and personal growth journeys, shared to invite awareness, not conclusions. We encourage kind, respectful discussion and constructive comments. In the next reflection, Why Family Wounds Last for Generations, we will explore how unhealed emotional patterns are passed down, and why awareness is the first step in stopping that cycle.